In today's rider tip, we're going to have a look at ruts. Now, ruts can be one of the most rewarding things you'll ever do on a motorcycle. Right up there with jumping a big triple jump or finally getting up on top of a set of those supercross whoops. Or they can be one of the most difficult and frustrating things you'll ever do on a bike. Now, before we get into the more technical side of things, we need to have a little bit of a look at the basics. Now, the first thing we need to discuss is body position. Now, ruts, just like berms, you want to try to have the body leaned over the same angle as the bike, just like a cyclist would in a velodrome. Now, by doing this, hold your wheels in place and gives you that extra little slingshot out of the corner. Now, while still on the subject of body position, make sure that outside elbow's up nice and high for extra strength, and we want to get that leg out just in case something goes wrong. It can hold you up and avoid a crash. Well, now we've got the majority of the body position out of the way, the main thing that I teach my guys at riding schools is early preparation. Setting yourself up nice and early is one of the biggest keys to nailing that rut. Now, what I mean by early preparation is make sure you've got plenty of time to sit down nice and early with your leg out, completely off the brakes. What this does is gives you so much more momentum coming into the corner and it flows a lot smoother. If you come hooking into the corner, brake too late, it means you have to get off the brakes too late in that first critical part of the corner where you're supposed to be carrying nice momentum. All this does is makes it very difficult to get the angle of your body and your bike right, and so difficult to finish the job off properly. Now, essentially, ruts are just the same as a berm, except with not quite as much room to move. Now, one of the easiest ways I find to explain it is if you're going to draw a straight line on a bit of paper, you just put the ruler down, put a pen on it, draw a straight line nice and easy. You don't put the ruler down, put the pen about a centimetre above it and use it as a guide. You can take half an hour to draw a line and it's not going to be as good as the proper one. Now, it's exactly the same as when riding a rut. Don't use it as a guide. All you'll end up doing is letting that front wheel go up and down the rut. Eventually it'll go over the top, push through and you'll end up having a crash. Just let that front wheel ride up against the inside wall of the rut and it'll draw you a straight line every time. Now, one of the major keys to doing ruts properly is in the leg, and it's almost cheating when you get it right. What we need to make sure we do is point the toe as much as we can. If you do the rut good enough that the ground comes up to meet your foot and your foot starts dragging across the top, it almost acts like a tripod and helps hold your bike in place. But it does take a little while before you'll get that bike and body at the right angle where your foot will start dragging across the top. When it does, it's worthwhile. Well, just like anything on a motocross bike, when you first start, you need to do it slow before you get the technique right. Once you got the technique right, you can start to speed it up. It does feel a little bit awkward though, trying to rail through some ruts at a slow speed. Once you start to get the pace up just a little bit, you'll find it works a lot smoother and it flows a lot better. Well, just remember guys, the main thing is to have some fun with your ruts. The last thing you want to do is to come flat out into the corner, death grip the bike, stiffen up. All you'll successfully do is give yourself arm pump and slow yourself down. But always remember, practice makes perfect. We'll see you next time.